All right, I'm just going to start talking. I don't have anything planned. This is just going to be my intro. I'm going to show all my games. I pretty much got all of them except for one round where I got a little bit. I'm going to upload all my games from the set championship. I figured I'd record them. I wasn't sure how it'd go. I wasn't sure if the games would be good or bad or what. I definitely think it's worth uploading. There's some crazy games. You know, I, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of mistakes I made that I'll probably spot. A lot of mistakes I've probably spotted as I played. More mistakes I'll probably spot now. And then also, I probably made a lot of mistakes I didn't even realize. Um, Games are long and complicated. I think I played some games really well in some spots and did some just stupid stuff as well. Tried to keep the stupid stuff to a minimum. Besides the latter, which is not great testing, I was always somewhere in the top 100 or so in the ladder. I tested with Opa. Some of you may know Opa. He didn't do so well in the event, but honestly, without playing with him, I wouldn't have done as well as I did. So, I thought about how to do this. I don't think anybody's going to really sit there and watch every round like on the edge of their seat in order, as a series. So I finished 10-5. I don't think that's much of a spoiler. A lot of people already know how I did. Anyone that went 9-6 or better qualifies for the next Paper Pro Tour, or the first one, the new one or whatever, Paper Pro Tour tournament. I'll probably go to that, assuming it's somewhere in the U.S. Doesn't cost a arm and a leg to fly there. $3,500 was the prize I won. This all being said, I was never in any sort of contention. I don't want to say anything. I can't give too much away, but I was never really in contention to win the whole tournament. I finished pretty strong. Let's just put it that way, I guess. So, I started making these. I wasn't really even chatting. I didn't try to like make a video. I just hit the record button and tried to forget it was there. After a while, into day two, I kind of knew I was going to probably upload these. So, it might have been a little bit more talking. Most of the talking you'll see in the earlier rounds would be celebrations or just bitching and moaning. All that out of the way. Oh, and basically, like, I feel like I had really, really bad luck day. So I want to go back and see if that's just kind of all in my head. What I'll say is, I had to get super lucky to win a lot of the games I won. But in a way, that feels like bad luck. They're like, I never won an easy game, and then it's like I just got trounced some of the time. I don't know. There was a lot of crazy situations. Day two, I think I ran quite a bit better. But anyways, I want to see how much of that's kind of in my head. Starting with standard. This is the deck I played. Esper. Some things that are a little different about it, I would say, is the interceptor packet, the 4 interceptors. That's going to be the most different thing. I was basically a little too chicken shit to play 3 grasps in my deck. Otherwise, maybe I'd have wanted another grasp. I just didn't really want more than 2 verses. The meat hooks, I think I wanted to. I definitely didn't want more than 2. Could have maybe cut a Kaito. I think if I did it over again, I would probably cut a Kaito for a 4th underdog. And I might try to get another removal spell. Another thing I did, played a lot of basic lands. I was a little bit worried about this Wildfire deck. And our main plan against these blue-red Wildfire decks was to board in like counter spells and stuff. So like, felt like we wanted an island for that reason. And since I wanted this island, and all of a sudden I wanted like more dual lands, like another black-white dual and stuff. So like, I didn't play a spell land, the angel land. I think I'd probably worry less about the Wildfire because I don't think there were that many of them. I think I would just worry less about that and make a little bit better mana base. But really, I would keep the 4 and 4. I think at least, yeah. I mean, these I would just keep these, and I just like a lot of 2s. Denick was great. I just like the card a lot. Sideboard. I didn't play against a lot of decks where I wanted to bring this Warden in. I wanted to bring it in specifically against Jund decks. Maybe it could go. I don't know. I didn't like stuff like Lolth. I just didn't think it was that good. I was watching a tiny bit of coverage today, and I heard like I was watching an Esper mirror where like the guy says he thinks it's about tempo and stuff, which I agree with. And he's like, yeah, we don't want duress, which I agree with. But then he boarded in a Bank Buster, which is like the worst tempo card of all time. But I think they just have one, so maybe they think they can get away with one because on the draw Kaito is pretty bad. But I liked the one farewell. I liked having access to that, but it could just be a third meat hook. I would like to get 4 Archons, and I'd have liked a second negate. Maybe I didn't need all 4 rays, something like that. But I wouldn't have changed much. I worked fairly. I looked at the mana base a lot. I don't know if worked is the right word, but I thought about it a lot. And it was, a concession to the wildfire mostly. Also, if I have the fourth underdog, I may not need this hive, which is awkward with these Denics. Because if you want to play a Denic, you can't play it untapped early. Um, that's basically what my thoughts were going into this tournament. I thought those, I didn't get to play against the Jund decks were so varied. There's so many different ones. Turned out to be a lot less like Sentinel Magda stuff than we expected. A lot more grindy Jund, but I only got to play against one. I think got to. I mean, it slaughtered me. But and then we didn't know what a good dragons list looked like, so we just kind of played that by ear. Turns out we were pretty good against them. I think at least could have been even better with maybe another counter or something. But that's basically why I came to my conclusion to play, this list. I wanted at least 9 2s. Denick was awesome. It was overperforming what I thought it would do. So I decided 3 dogs were enough. But like I say, sometimes they bring in a bunch of rays. I wanted to cut aspirants, keep dogs. So I like to have another 2 drop, maybe just over Kaito. Also think maybe you could play 3 Wex, but they're pretty good too. All right, now my historic deck. This one's a bit of a, I don't know. Basically, we thought there'd be a lot more control decks there. Blue-white kind of decks. This card in particular, I think, is pretty good against these control decks. I don't know exactly what their removal spells are going to be. If they're playing Portable Hole, it doesn't kill it. If they're playing March, it costs a lot to kill it. If they're playing like the 3 mana Alchemy card that exiles 3 or less or whatever, it's tough for them. It's also really good against food because it can't be pushed. That being said, a lot of my matches were just tempo, a lot of mirrors, a lot just like, it got sided out. It wasn't great. Also we're thinking like, or at least I was thinking, turn 2 Ledger Shredder, turn 3 spell into entities, pretty awesome curve. I don't know, it just never came up much. People were like reacting to your Ledger Shredder, this and that. Like, it seemed a little awkward, and maybe it wasn't correct. Maybe just some more interactive cards instead of the entities would have been better, especially when there was no blue white. We had a lot of threats. Um, the borrower, he comes and goes in my lists. I just thought I wanted one. It was decent in the main deck. Good against auras, especially if they have Cerulean Drake. Gives me a chance. Aura, borrower. Didn't know how much Hearse there would be. It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good against like the artifact deck, Metal Cyst. We didn't really practice against that much. I played a lot of games, but we didn't have a good list of all this stuff. Especially Historic, we started first because you could play it before the new cards are out even. So like, by the time I started going to Standard, I don't know. I just didn't get to test against everything as much as we could have, I guess. But it was just 2 of us. It wasn't going to work out. We weren't going to get to play against everything a million times. But yeah, you could have had maybe some more interaction here. I want at least 2 Drakes in the main and at least 3 total. We had 4 total. Um, basically, our thought, we tried it with black for stuff against food, the saga. But our thought was, basically against food, it's not a great matchup, but I'm going to have a bunch of Abrades that can kill hearse if they've got that. Just kill all their little creatures, kill their ovens. Um, have a lot of Drakes that are hard for them to kill, and have these charms that can protect something or steal a squirrel. It really was Opa that came up with that. I saw a lot of decks with charms, a lot of these Izzet decks with charms, and I'm wondering what they're for. I mean, Opa said a guy in the mirror brought in 3 of them against him, which seems just dreadful to me. I didn't have anyone in the mirror bring him in against me, but I was shocked. I thought we were going to be like, people were going to be like, what in the world are these charms for? And really, we put them in. I mean, a catch-all against control just to take some stuff out, and then almost mostly just for food. It comes in against black, red, grindy. It's a divination and so stuff, but like really, it was there to like kind of try to steal a squirrel and steal a game or counter us. Just like kind of a flexible card against food. Not one's just going to win the game on its own, but just a nice, good card. I would have liked the third dispute. Some of the games with the hearse were awkward. There's a lot of tension there on how early to play the hearse, how much to count on it, this and that. Sometimes it completely wrecks their hand. Sometimes it kind of does nothing, and you're on board with the thing that does nothing, and they're just kind of beating you down. It's definitely worse versus the ones that played the O3 Alchemy Sage guy. That comes a 3/3 when you play a spell. It was a lot worse against those versions. A lot of times I felt like I might just kind of lose because I'd play a hearse even. Fries, even though we expected a lot of control, also great in the mirror. Kill shredders, drakes. Our plan for the mirror was like, hearses, first of all. Assuming other people were going to have hearses, braids, fries. If sometimes people had a lot of disputes, I wouldn't need an extra drake. I might even cut one. But like I played against some people that had like hearses, but like one dispute and one drake. And it's just like in that case, just like, okay, kill your hearse, stick mine. I have disputes and drakes and like I don't know. You're trying to like double and holy heat them or something. That's the kind of matchup I wanted to be playing. Didn't happen that often, but that was basically the mirror was not a side. Um, due to that fact, mostly, I would have liked probably an extra land. I think I would have liked to play one of the Hall of Storm Giants in this deck. I would just say cut an entity for it at the moment. And maybe something over a strangle. One strangle maybe was enough. Strangles. I don't know. They weren't horrible, but maybe another different kind of burn spell. And I would definitely try out the O3 guy if I was going to play this again. I would give him a chance. Ox never was great for me. A lot of people played it. It was fine sometimes, but I didn't hate cutting it in the end, especially when I was bringing in a lot of reactive cards in a lot of matchups, and people are bringing in graveyard hate. It just didn't seem like to me that I'd want to keep the Oxen very much, and he wasn't like that insane game one in my mind. Um, so that's why he wasn't here. But yeah, that's you'll see how I sideboard. I'll talk about it in the matches, but I'm just trying to give you a general idea, I guess, of why I chose some of these cards I chose. And Fry we liked in the mirror, we liked against auras, we liked against control. Like I put in the third of braid late just because I kept hearing about hearse, 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 hearse. And a lot of the decks that play hearse, most of them, in fact, you want to braid against anyways. I figure. I mean, maybe not the mirror so much. Like it's tolerable. But if like black red has a braid, then they also have the 1/3 that Arcanist guy, like a braid's just great there because you can't heat anything. They're hitting your graveyard so hard. So yeah, those are my reasons. I'd probably change a little bit more about this deck than the other one, but it played out all right. So I'll be putting the games up as soon as I can. I need to do this as soon as I can, so the stuff's still fresh in my mind. Try to think of what I was thinking, why I did it. this and that. Hopefully, a lot of it's still fresh. Day one, I definitely kind of felt like there was some brain fog through the middle there. So I'm interested to see how many of those I may have just tossed away. I do not know. And that's about all I got for now. So I'm gonna throw the games up. Hopefully, a few of y'all like this. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.